Hey there, welcome back to the James Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Welcome back to the big show. I had this, my next guest was on last week, Jason Taylor, and we were talking about a completely different topic, but I found out one of the events that he's putting on is happening this week. In fact, it's happening tonight at Gilley's here in downtown Dallas, and it's called Code Launch. Jason Taylor, welcome back to the James Show. Tell the people listening about this Shark Tank-themed exhibition that's happening tonight.
Well, thank you, James. And yes, I would love to tell you. I'm standing out here near Gilley's down in sunny South Dallas, just near downtown. And at Code Launch, we are having the World Championship here in Dallas. And what that means is we've gone across North America this year producing Code Launch for tech startup founders. And what we do is we help them, we educate them, we help build their digital product for free with great professional software developers. And then we feature them in a live show that we call the Next Generation Adventuretainment. So yes, Code Launch doors open here at 4 o'clock in about 30 minutes. And we have exhibitors, we have startups everywhere, we have investors everywhere. We'd love to invite anybody listening over to Gilley's to check out Code Launch tonight.
Well, one of the reasons I've seized on your event here that's happening is we complain a lot, and rightfully so, about, how people just waste their time doing dumb stuff like watching sports or something stupid like that, Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Here is something that still fills that entertainment void, but there's at least a hint of intelligence somewhere in the room. And I mean that as an understatement. You have some of the smartest people, some of the great innovative minds, and then already successful business people. These are the people we should be glorifying. And look, it's great if you're a shutdown cornerback, but if you're a successful investor, or if you have a tech mind, or if you're an amazing coder or a businessman, these are great role models for kids. And Jason, after you were on last week, some guy emailed me and asking for your website. And then he emailed me following up. He's like, listen, I got tickets for me and my teenage daughter are going to go. Because, what else do you do together that's smart? That's not about, either partying or a concert or a sporting event. And this kind of fills a gap that I've been griping about on this show for a long time.
It does that. And it's perfect for teenage kids, starting about 6th grade and up, who might be already interested in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math type of topics or hobbies, or they are interested in entrepreneurism, business, and, have big dreams about what they're going to go and create in their adult lives. Because when you come to Code Launch, what you see is the business of funding business. You see how ideas become reality. You see the things that you use on your phone every day. You see their birthplace, their origin. And it's very educational, but it's really a lot of fun because we make it a live television show. And we are actually streaming it to our parent companies. It's called Improving. That's who helps us produce Code Launch. And Improving is streaming this to every office in North America, which is like 17. So we're going to have a virtual office of a couple of thousand, a virtual audience, a couple thousand, and then about 800 people at Gilley's.
So this is cool because I actually have a couple of kids that are into coding, and it would be nice if they have some role models, because something you notice about kids, they're going to have role models. Are they going to have smart role models, or are they going to have dumb role models? Do you want your kid's role model to be another coder, or do you want it to be Chapel Roan? It's up to you. So if I don't expect a whole lot of people to actually be able to make it down to Gilley's. I'll probably be there tonight if you want to come say hi. But if they're at home and they want to watch it, can they just get to it from their computer or their phone?
No, it also has to be an event. But to make that easier, I've got a promo code for everybody listening right now. It's WBAP. WBAP, that will get you free general admission tickets.
For how much? The price of one?
For free. No, for free. That will give you free general admission tickets.
Shut
WBAP.
up. Oh, man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, check that out. WBAP, 3 free tickets to come see Code Launch. It's tonight at Gilley's. What time do they need to be there?
The show starts at 6, but if they want me to throw them a hat and a T-shirt, they better be seated at 5:55.
All right. Sounds good. Well, when are you having another event after this? Is this sort of a once-a-year thing for Dallas?
This is the 344 schedule. Tour, so to speak. So we went to Canada, Mexico, Minneapolis, and Houston this year. We will be announcing another tour and another national world championship event shortly, probably very first week of January. We'll have the whole 2025 plan out there for the public.
All right, Jason Taylor, thank you very much for your time again. Congratulations on your enterprise here. If you want more info, the website codelaunch.com, promo code WBAP. We'll get you in for free. I'll see you tonight.
Thanks.
All right. There's Jason Taylor, codelaunch.com. If you have any more questions, email me, james@wbap.com. Isn't that cool? There's now the State Board of Education says that you can mention the Bible in the curriculum of public schools in Texas. Huge win, not for Christianity, just for common sense. Even if you're a completely secular person, even if you're a non-believer, even if you're an agnostic, even if you're an atheist, the idea that you can't even reference the Bible in a public school is ridiculously dumb. And like, it's beyond dumb. Because what is the Bible if you take the religion aspect out of it? Let's see. It's the number one best-selling book in history, is the number one best-selling book every year that you've been alive, is the number one best-selling book actually every year that since the printing press has been invented. It's the most consequential book on planet Earth. Our society is based on it. Our religion is based on it. Our constitution and statecraft is based on it. And one of the things that you'll notice as soon as you get out of school and you start studying history on your own is how much the Bible is completely infused in our history. I don't know how they got through teaching you American history without bringing up the Bible. What you'll notice is we've actually had to do some giant backflips and backbends and sort of these Cirque du Soleil tricks to get through just the Revolutionary War without mentioning the Bible. You know who Thomas Paine is. You know he wrote the pamphlet Common Sense. You know that spread like wildfire through the colonies and was the thing that sort of galvanized the American spirit from being ticked off British subjects to, damn it, we're Americans and we're kicking the British out. It's the turning factor. Now, have you ever read it? There's a reason why you haven't read it. The Bible's all over it. They can't teach it in school. You realize once you say you can't reference the Bible in public schools because we have a separation of church and state, that's a terrible misinterpretation of that edict. But anyway, you have to withhold so much truth from history. And it's not like inconsequential stuff. So many of the decisions that were made at both the constitutional or the convention where they did the Declaration of Independence, and then years later when they did the Constitution, the Bible's referenced constantly in those debates, in the notes that you read, and the letters they write to each other, in the rough drafts, and you can't even reference any of that. This is like, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about how to play football, but you're not allowed to mention the ball. That's what history, especially American history, that's what history is like without the Bible being in there. And it's not just like history, like the social studies aspect of history. It's also literature. It's also English. It's also how to speak properly. It's all, reading, writing. The only thing the Bible doesn't really affect is arithmetic. Do you realize how much of our Bible is infused in American literature? Do you realize how intertwined it is in just your everyday speech? You know how many of these little idiomatic phrases that we use, these colloquialisms that we use every day, come from the Bible itself? No, of course you don't. They're not allowed to teach it. Isn't this crazy? I've always thought this is insane, especially in the last few years when we've been having the debates over what books are or aren't allowed in the elementary and high school libraries and public schools. You can have the GABCs in there, but not the Bible. You can have genderqueer, but not the Bible. You can have a book with cartoons expressing how to do man-on-man stuff that's too explicit for me to describe on the radio for your 8-year-old kid, but not the Bible. How insane is that? And I've been saying, and if you've been listening to the show, you've probably heard me say it before. Oh, really? Banning books makes you a fascist? Cool. I guess we can put the Bible back in school now. Well, at least that logical paradox is starting to fade. But here's just a rundown of some of the phrases that we use, that Mark Twain used, that Shakespeare referenced, that Mike Traina uses in some of his newscasts. These are from the Bible, the apple of his eye. a drop in the bucket, the salt of the earth, the powers that be. I will stop at the bell. The love of money is the root of all evil. Am I my brother's keeper? An eye for an eye. Man does not live by bread alone. And then there's like the term scapegoat. That comes from the Bible. Put words in my mouth comes from the Bible. The skin of my teeth, Bible. Bite the dust, Bible. At my wits' end, Bible. Eat, drink, and be merry is in the Bible twice. A little birdie told me, also in the Bible. No rest for the wicked. Can a leper change his spots? Go the extra mile. Spare the rod, spoil the child. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. How do you get through a normal life in America and pretend like the Bible has to be separated from the educational system? That is the dumbest. Like, if you could only allow one book in schools, it should be the Bible. It's the last book you should be kicking out of schools. And somehow this interpretation, like separation of church and state, where is that in the Constitution? It's not in the Constitution. It was written in a letter from Thomas Jefferson to Danbury Church in Connecticut about how he wasn't going to, be overtly Christian in his governance, and he wanted to keep a wall of separation between church and state. That doesn't mean you go erase all aspects of religion, any mention of religion from the public sphere. The state is supposed to be indifferent toward religion, not antagonistic towards religion. We're supposed to be a secular state, not an atheist state. And state atheism, that's with capital letters, capital S, capital A. State atheism, it is an ethos, it's part of the Marxists adopted it. You can see what they did. They did it in Cuba. They did it in Russia. They did it in China. They all tried to outlaw Christianity. And for the brief time, the socialists were in charge of Mexico just 120-something years ago. They killed like 10,000 Catholic priests. What is with socialists hating Christians? What is with socialists hating religion? You people are evil. Stop it. But yeah, state atheism. That's just a branch of Marxism. That's what it is. And it's failed wherever it was tried. How'd that work out? How did an atheist society, how'd that work out in the Soviet Union? Oh, that's right. It collapsed after 70 years. How's that going in China? Oh, my God, just the biggest surveillance state in the world with the fewest amount of human rights you have in a developed country. Maybe counting North Korea, also state atheist. Actually, they're sort of a communist theocracy, but that's a different discussion for the different day. Needless to say, they're not big fans of the Bible. But I'm concerned because you look around the world and you see some of these countries like New Zealand, more than half of them are non-religious now. Like only about a third of New Zealand is Christian. What's going to happen? This is an experiment that gets tried over and over and over. You have these societies that are spiritually strong and they grow and they turn into empires and they get powerful and they get prosperous, and then they drop their religion and then they become sort of multicultural, really, and not so much antagonistic toward religion, just indifferent toward religion. Yeah, we'll worship all the gods. Baal, sure, bring them on. Whoever else you got, whatever other idols, they're all the same. We believe in everything. That's when they fail. We have another one of these bathroom situations. Damn it. This is what I was talking about earlier in the show. Like when you're reading through history and the Seljuk Turks are coming across Anatolia and about to take Constantinople, and they're griping over the next appointment in the Hagia Sophia or something like that. Well, who's going to get to be the patriarch next? Dude, you are facing extinction and y'all are digging in your cultural belly buttons about minutia, about things that do not matter. And like in the record of history, when World War III's popping off, we'll be like, well, what was going on in America at the time that they didn't see this coming? We're arguing over where trannies get to poop. That's what we're doing. This is the most important stuff. This is why I'm so just blown away that even Fox News isn't mentioning the Russia situation. You realize like the first two world wars popped off. They were like launched from Germany. And now we have plans where NATO and Russia are having a conversation about staging 800,000 NATO troops in Germany to what? Fight against Russia? How many times do we have to have this world war before we start to notice some similarities and some patterns popping up? Now, not to say that this isn't an important cultural discussion overall. It just seems kind of weird. You know, we have millions of illegals here committing crimes, screwing all kinds of things up, costing the taxpayers billions. And we're so far we've been told on the show today that if we mass deport people that weren't supposed to be here in the first place, our economy would collapse. If it was just dumb Americans and legal immigrants, then our whole economy would just teeter and fall off a cliff. Oh, really? And then I got to follow that up with people ignoring Russia and acting like it's so important. It is so important that this dude in a wig gets to choose his bathroom. No, it's not. I can't believe we're having this discussion. This is like talking to a 5-year-old. Why can't I go into the other bathroom? Well, that's for girls only. Well, I feel like a girl. Well, you're not. So you're going to use the boys' bathroom. See, this is something that you probably predicted. Go ahead. Let's pretend like men and women are just some sort of social construct and there's no difference. Fine. Go ahead. See what's going to happen. Go ahead. Let men play with the women in sports. They're going to win. They're going to trash women. They're going to beat the snot out of them. And you're not going to see the opposite. You're not going to see any women beating men in men's sports. And we're starting to see a whole lot of the reports about when you do relax what the bathroom rules were. Go look up at the headlines. There's plenty of examples of trans people doing things they're not supposed to be doing with underage girls because they were allowed into this special private space. And it's a great example of the larger behavior that's sort of the split between, I hate to say conservative and liberal, but let's just use it for simplicity's sake. You know, the mindset, the metaphor that people like to use is if you're of the conservative mindset and you're walking through like a pasture in the middle of nowhere and you come across a fence. Well, you don't know why that fence is there, but you know the people who came before you, they're not idiots. They probably put that fence up for a reason. It's probably to keep someone in, or probably to keep something out, control wildlife, just to denote the boundaries between property. Whatever it is, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to either climb over it or maybe worm my way through the wires, but I'm not going to mess with the fence. I'm just going to leave it there. It was already there. I'm going to conserve this existing institution. The liberal mindset is wandering through the pasture, sees the fence and says, I don't see any reason why there should be a fence here. And they tear it down. There's a reason why we've been separating men and women in the bathroom all these years. And you don't have to know what it is specifically. You don't even have to know any examples. You don't have to hear any stories. You can just know, but by the fact that we've done it for as long as we've had indoor plumbing, we've done it this way. Before that, when we had outhouses for the most part. And why it happens not just in our country, but they did it in Canada and they do it in Mexico and they do it all over the world. All these societies, when they get to make their bathrooms with indoor plumbing, they all separate the genders out. Now, why is that? There has to be some reason for that. It's not because we all just decided to oppress women or be buttheads to transgender people. There's a reason for that. We're finding out the hard way. And it's crazy to see this happen in Congress. You've got to be kidding me. Well, it happened. The first trans woman's been elected to Congress, and there's another woman that's already in Congress, an actual woman, and she doesn't want to be sharing the bathroom with men. Now, she claims that she has a personal anxiety about the situation because she is a survivor of both sexual abuse, sexual assault, and rape. I think she has a valid point, whether her background is clear or muddied up. And so her name is Representative Mace, and she's trying to write it into the rules for this Congress before it adjourns to make sure that she doesn't have to share a bathroom with a man.
Here she goes. Here's Congresswoman Mace. Congresswoman Mace, can I ask you a question as you walk?
Oh, the ABC reporter catches up with her, catches her off guard while she's walking out. Not a big deal. It's just more than Kamala Harris ever did talking to the media. And also, listen, he doesn't ask her. He argues against her.
Here. So the question is, with your piece of legislation about banning women from using...
100% yes.
My question to you is...
It doesn't go far enough. I'll be filing more bills.
You have said that it was created in response to Congresswoman-elect McBride.
100%. And
should legislation be created targeted at one specific person?
It doesn't mention anyone in the legislation, but
you've said it was aimed at her.
No, I have said it's a result of this. I'm not going to allow biological men into women's private spaces. I will stand in the brink and stand in the way of anyone on the radical left who thinks that it's okay for a penis to be in a women's locker room or a bathroom or a changing room. Hell no. I'm not going to stand for it. And the Speaker said it would be in the House rules package. If it's not, I'll be ready with a motion, a privileged motion to force a vote on this. This is not okay. I'm a survivor of rape. I'm a survivor of sexual abuse. And I'm not going to allow any man in any female private spaces.
Now, Speaker,
end of story. And by the way, I'm getting death threats from men pretending to be women. Why is it that these crazy people, the insanity, the radical left, are willing to kill women over a man's right to be in a women's restroom?
Speaker Johnson has said he wants to treat every new member with the words dignity and respect. Forcing this congressperson to go into a male restroom, is that dignity and respect?
forcing women to share private spaces with men is not dignity and not respect. And I'm absolutely going to stand in the way of anyone who thinks it's okay for a man to be in our locker room, in our changing rooms, in our dressing rooms, in women's bathrooms. And in fact, if you agree with that, you're crazy, because that's not okay. It's not okay.
Get them, Mace. All right, your thoughts. 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. Is she right to make a rule ensuring that she doesn't have to share the bathroom with a man? 800-288-9227. I'm James Parker. This is The James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Hey there, welcome back to The James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. If you want to be a part of the big show, 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. Well, we have passed Halloween. We have passed the election. And really all we have to do for the rest of this year is three of the biggest holidays. It's going to be family. It's going to be time off. It's going to be special moments with the kids. And for some reason, this leaves a lot of people sad, even depressed. I don't know what that's about, but maybe my next guest can explain this to me. Dr. Laura Gabian. I don't know if I'm saying that right. We'll just call you Dr. G.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you for having me.
How do you say it correctly?
Gabian.
Gabian. All right. I just want to get it right. I can be trained. So how come a time of cheer makes some people feel so sad?
So we're trained to work. And as a country, we like to work. And this time kind of feeds into feelings. And that makes us uncomfortable because we don't know what to do with that.
I assume that this was people thinking about the loved ones they've lost. You know, well, Christmas makes me think of my mom or my grandma or something like that. So it's not that.
No, it's kind of like it's a part of your brain you're not used to using. I mean, if we as a country not use hundreds of millions of days off, then we like to work. And this holiday season, we don't have that. It's a time where we connect. It's a time where we focus on our relationships, and a lot of people don't know how to do that.
Yeah, okay. That's making sense because I've also felt like something similar where I think my vacation limit is about 4 or 5 days because I've gone on a 10-day vacation, and the last 4 days I was just miserable. I couldn't wait to get back to work.
Yeah, and or you meet people who work while they're on vacation.
Right? That almost sounds like a dream to me. It's like, oh, I still get to do the show, but I can be like on a cruise ship or something. That'd be great. Do you have any advice for people who feel this sadness and this holiday depression?
Well, we are seeing a loneliness pandemic. So if you have someone around you, great. If you don't, you should pursue things that bring people together, like clubs or similar interests. And at the end of the day, just tune into your feelings. Give yourself downtime. It's okay to do nothing. It's okay to watch something that makes you laugh. It's okay to be happy because at the end of the day, that's what your body needs.
Well, I really like to lean into alcohol use. Is that something you recommend?
Well, it depends. I mean, everything in moderation. So if it makes you really happy to have one glass, fine, 1 or 2. But if it leads to more in excess, then no. But if it's something you look forward to, then everything in moderation.
Oh, Dr. G, that's not what I'm talking about at all. But look, jokes aside, you get a handful of people who are otherwise, feeling depressed or awkward or frustrated. About 8 beers later, around a pool table with some loud music, I can put pretty much anybody in a good mood in that situation.
Well, alcohol can, but it's fake. It's temporary. It's like a Band-Aid. I think people, once it wears off, then they realize, oh no, I have nothing, or I'm sad, or I'm this, or I'm that. So they need to essentially look at the root of the problem, not cover it up.
I have a cousin that when she gets depressed, she will crush a whole German chocolate cake. Do you recommend, indulging in food during the holidays?
I think it's a bad idea. You will regret it. And I feel like the reason being is our moderation. I do think we should have food, and I do think diets should be put aside in any way, shape, or form. This is a great time to enjoy yourself. but don't overdo it with anything. And your body doesn't deserve to take in that much stuff. So with food, I think of it as, is it helping me in any way? Is it making me happy? Or is it nutritious?
No, look, this isn't like an everyday thing. I'm not saying you need to go eat a cake at every meal. I'm just saying it's the holidays. Let yourself indulge a little bit, to let your guard down. Don't worry about these things. And if you want to crush a cake, kill it.
But a whole cake? That's a lot. I don't think it's enjoyable.
All right, so half a cake. Can we compromise just half of a German chocolate cake with sprinkles? Because look, you're taking all the fun out of it. I've recommended alcohol. I've recommended overeating. My third one, if you shoot this one down, I've got nothing. It's the thing that married people do. If I'm in a bad mood and Miss Parker shows up and she has that special look in her eye, I'm not going to be depressed very long.
Are you married to Miss Parker?
Yes, I'm married to Miss Parker. That kind of takes some of the complications out of it, but yes.
Well, so the food, I think half a cake is okay. A little alcohol is okay. And no, cheating on your loved one is not okay.
I'm not cheating. No, not cheating. I'm talking about within the confines of marriage. Me and my wife are happily married. We just like to do it.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead. Do it as much as you want to.
So there's one thing. So no overeating and no alcohol, but doing it with your wife. That at least I get to do something fun. You were taking all the fun out of it up until there. Any other recommendations that I haven't mentioned yet?
No, I think that, you didn't say have like self-care, right? That's kind of a no-no.
Self-care doesn't mean anything.
It does. Watching a show, watching sports, watching a movie, that's all self-care.
Oh, okay.
And people don't realize it.
All right. Where do they find you? I'm out of time here. Where do they find you outside of the James Show, Dr. G?
So I wrote a book called Common Wisdom. I defined wisdom as 8 elements by talking to 60 people. So it's on Amazon. Common Wisdom, Common Elements. So that's on Amazon.
Dr. Laura Gabayan, Common Wisdom is the book? Yes. All right. Thank you very much for your time again. I appreciate I hope someone gets some help out of that. You people who are depressed, maybe you can take the Dr. G route. Maybe you can take the Dr. Parker route. I'm telling you, my recommendations work. Maybe it's not for everybody. I don't have a medical degree. So just take that for what it's worth. All right, coming up next, a couple of funny sound bites from the media. We'll just all make fun of them and laugh together. I'm James Parker. It's The James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Hey there, welcome back to The James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Remember, we are your home for implementing Project 2025 now that we have the clean sweep. And Team Red has won not only the White House, but now the House of Representatives and the Senate. We don't have to live that lie anymore. We can go ahead and tell the truth. It really was about Project 2025 all along. Get ready for the new fascist American Republic. It's going to be great. And I'm putting together blessedbethefruit.org. It will have links to your Handmaid's Tale gown, so you can dress like a ketchup bottle. We're going to have a registry. You're going to have to put yourself in the database. All women of childbearing age. If you are unmarried, single female of childbearing age, we're going to need you to register your uterus. We're going to keep track of all the active uteruses in America, because that's the first thing the Christo-fascists do. I mean, that's what we're built for. Of course we were lying about that this whole time. Rachel Maddow's worst fears have come true. Blessedbethefruit.org will be your shining light. And look, if you have a preference on which FEMA camp you want to be sent to as a fertile woman of childbearing age, you can make a request. I can't guarantee you we'll be able to match all accommodations, but we certainly will try. We would like Gilead to be the most comfortable, happy place it could possibly be. So look forward to that. Blessedbethefruit.org. Got some good feedback here over the last couple segments. I wanted to share some of these with you before I got out. Dylan was... We'll just say Dylan was speculating on the level of sobriety on my last guest. Can we leave it there? I don't know. I don't know how she normally talks. Maybe some people normally talk just a little slurry, a little sloppy, and maybe you just mistook someone's accent or their manner of speech. I don't know. There's no breathalyzer requirement to get on the James Show. I imagine if we did, half the callers would have to hang up during any given show. But no, and let me go ahead and reiterate in the other direction. if you're completely trashed, if you're wasted out of your mind, you're still welcome to call the James Show. The only thing I can't tolerate is cuss words. So 800-288-9227. Are you a day drinker? Are you really just leaning into it today? Let me know. 800-288-9227. Don't really call. Show's almost over. Maybe call tomorrow. There was some people who were pointing out that in the Bible in school topics, I was in favor of teaching the Bible in school. Apparently, judging by the emails and a couple of Facebook notes that I've gotten, I need to delineate my position a little bit. I am not for teaching the doctrine of Christianity in schools. I am merely in favor of, whenever it naturally comes up, not excluding the Bible. So, I would even go so far as to be okay with public schools teaching a survey class. You know what a survey class is? I didn't know what it was till I went to college. I had to take, because I went to ETBU, East Texas Baptist University. We had to take some Christian classes. I had to take 2 survey classes and 2 doctrine classes, 2 actual theology classes. The survey classes had no theology in it whatsoever. It had no doctrine in it whatsoever. I took Old Testament 1 and 2, and we just went through. And we would say, okay, well, this is the city of Ur. This is where we found it on the map, a few years ago. It's now in modern day Iraq. And here's the timeline. And here's the map. And here's where the borders were. And it was really just a history. Oh, I'd be totally okay with teaching all that. No, I am not actively asking for them to teach doctrine in class. But let me go ahead and throw out there, I wouldn't be against if they offered it as an elective. Oh, you would be okay with them teaching doctrine in class? What about all that separation of church and state? Well, look, they could have a class on Hindu doctrine and Muslim doctrine. It's not an establishment of an official religion of state. It's just explaining what these people believe, explaining what's in their holy books. And, ancient books are important. How come we can learn about the ancient religion of the Greeks? How come we can learn about ancient religion of the Romans or the Persians or the Nordic people? We can learn about Odin. We can learn about Loki. We can learn about Zeus. We can learn about Jupiter, but not Jesus. Makes no sense. So let's just treat it like that then. Just a secular approach to it. And then also, this other guy. Was pointing out that I disagreed with Casey Bartholomew. He's on the mid-morning show. He's on from 9 to 11 here. And I didn't hear it. I don't know. I can't tell you anything directly, but I can tell you, Doug, that's the guy who wrote in, that happens a lot, and that's okay. In fact, I'm going to be a guy who disagrees with a lot of the other hosts on this show on quite a few things. But I hope I explain myself well, and I hope it doesn't drive you away. I have no other places to go. All of the outlets, the media platforms for a talk show host like me from WBAP, they only get more lefty, and I believe I'm far to the right of WBAP. And so it'll happen. It's happened before. I'm a guy who wants to end drug prohibition. That's all of it. That's even prescription drugs. Yes, that's fentanyl. Yes, that's cocaine. I would just want to legalize it all in the same way, because I believe in the same way alcohol prohibition kept all the bad parts of drinking alcohol and added in a criminal element. I think the drug prohibition is doing the same thing. It's not going to get rid of drug use or drug abuse or overdoses. It'll just clear out some of our jails, and we'll have about the same problem that we have without the cartels being millionaires and billionaires. I don't want to reform public schools. I want to get rid of public schools. I don't want to reform the Department of Education. I want to get rid of the Department of Education. So you'll find that in some of these little other nuancy topics that come up, like even around Dallas, when we're talking about some of these zoning issues or keeping public libraries, I didn't hear the show, but I bet you Casey doesn't want to get rid of public libraries. I might be the only person on WBAP that is actively saying we need to get rid of public libraries. We actively need to get rid of public schools. I think most of the guys on WBAP are in favor of school choice. It's just, listen, if I sound out of step, it's usually because I'm out of step in a more limited government, more libertarian, more conservative, more constitutional position. So if I can find a little bit of grace in your heart for whenever I stray from orthodoxy on that, I really need you to be flexible with me on that. Don't hear me say something you disagree with and think I'm some, closet lefty that's trying to sneak one past the goalie. Just stick with me. Give me a chance to explain myself. And even if in the end you don't agree with me, you at least understand where I'm coming from. And it's not out of place of malice or because I think this country's racist or capitalism's evil. I'm out of time, though. We'll continue this tomorrow. In the meantime, you can find more James Show with the podcast, WBAP.com, WBAP app, wherever you already listen to a podcast. Type in the James Show, see if I pop up, and you can catch more of me there. I'm James Parker. This has been the James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3.